Welcome to the Friends of Music Hall's first virtual annual meeting via Zoom. I'm Peter Koenig, the president of the Friends of Music Hall. I hope you enjoyed hearing Hello Dolly performed by the magnificent Trent Sims on our mighty Wurlitzer theater organ. Since we can't be live in Music Hall's ballroom, we wanted to share the sounds of the organ with you at home. Trent will perform another rousing number at the conclusion of our program about an hour from now. Thank you to our generous Hannaford and Springer level donors who joined us earlier tonight for a virtual cocktail party with our special guests, Cincinnati Opera's Evans Mirages, Cincinnati Ballet's Carmen de Leon, and Taya Chekama, our very own historic preservationist. Please consider becoming a member of the Friends of Music Hall at the Hannaford or Springer levels to receive an invitation to next year's special event. Before I introduce tonight's keynote address, I have a few brief business items to cover with you. Last year, you'll recall, we announced our rebranding program. We changed the name of our nonprofit organization from the Society for the Preservation of Music Hall to the Friends of Music Hall as part of our long-range strategic plan. As we move forward, we hired an executive director to assist our hardworking, all-volunteer board of directors and to help guide our organization to a more polished and professional level. Mindy Rosen is fulfilling that role admirably. If you haven't met Mindy, please reach out and try to meet her in person at your earliest opportunity. Of course, since March, life in Music Hall has been profoundly affected by COVID-19. Since then, we all have lived in an upside-down world with feelings of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and vulnerability. Our feelings arise from three major events that have exploded in our world since March. First, we have the health crisis arising from the deadly coronavirus pandemic. Second, we have an economic crisis with another recession, perhaps even a depression, on the horizon. Third, we have a crisis of civil rights for people of color, driven by the Black Lives Matter movement, protesting against systemic racism. Each of these calamities is impacting our community, downtown, Cincinnati, over the Rhine, and Music Hall's resident companies, as well as our beloved building and iconic historic structure. It's also affected our programs in quite significant and meaningful ways. The only thing constant is change, and what form the transformation caused by these calamities will take is constantly evolving. As a group, we have to listen and pay close attention as we work through these changes and uncertain times, all the while honoring our organization's mission to preserve, enhance, and improve Music Hall. Our all-volunteer board continues to meet and work on projects and services that will enhance the hall when the time is right. Of course, most of these meetings are virtual by Zoom or WebEx or Group or Team or any of these services that are out there. But I really want to compliment the members of the board, and especially our extremely talented and dedicated core of faithful volunteer tour guides and researchers. They are extremely hardworking, committed, and inspired people, truly some of the most special friends of Music Hall. We have had fun connecting with our volunteers at several Zoom happy hours. They're all BYOB, of course, and I'd like to give them a big virtual round of applause. Thank you very much to all our volunteers and tour guides.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Rick, what's new?
Well, not me, but you're new.
Yeah, quite literally. I'm new to the board, and I worked on the Friends of Music Hall branding.
That branding is going to be a big help to us as we look toward the future. So thank you for being part of that, and thank you for joining our board.
Thanks, I'm glad to be here.
Nicole, did you know that between 1879 and 2012, 5 American presidents stopped by Music Hall?
Wow, who?
Well, in 1879, Rutherford B. Hayes was actually nominated for the presidency at a convention here. In 1902, Teddy Roosevelt was here. In 1910, William Howard Taft, who was from Cincinnati, he was here. Then in 1996, Bill Clinton stopped by, and in 2012, Barack Obama visited.
That's fascinating, Rick. Did you also know that in 1901, Winston Churchill gave a lecture here, and in 1964, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. also gave a speech here?
Wow, a lot of famous people. Maybe someday they'll think of us that way.
Maybe.
Now for some committee updates. First, our finances, thankfully, are solid. We take our responsibilities seriously as stewards of the endowment that we have been fortunate to be blessed with. Despite our nation's economic turbulence, we continue to protect and manage our assets in a way that should preserve Music Hall in perpetuity. And we look to you and our many other friends as we seek funding for several other projects, such as our next exciting restoration project on the facade that Taya Chekama will soon describe to you. Moving on to marketing and communications, that team keeps our website, Facebook page, Instagram account, and Twitter feeds up to date with exciting news and beautiful photographs. A brand new email communication called Windows on Music Hall will be delivered to your inboxes in the next month. This quarterly e-newsletter will give you insights into what we are working on, how you can participate in our activities, and we'll share ideas about what inspires us at Music Hall. It'll be an amazing photograph or a poem, maybe even a short story. We have a number of wonderful writers on the board of the Friends of Music Hall. Also, look for an email soon about the Music Hall blueprint that we just acquired. We have had some very high quality reproductions made, and it's a blueprint of the front Elm Street facade as designed by Samuel Hannaford. We are going to sell them to the public, but we want you to be the first to see it and have the opportunity to acquire one if you should like. Next, unfortunately, we made the cautious but prudent decision not to present our Halloween and Mighty Wurlitzer holiday concerts. But keep an eye out for a special musical treat that will be coming your way online. Of course, we also had to pause our very active tour programs due to the COVID-19, but I am pleased to tell you that our outdoor tours of Music Hall resumed recently and will continue through the end of October, weather permitting. Earlier this month, we worked with the folks at ArtsWave to provide special mini outdoor tours for arts supporters. We are especially grateful to our dedicated volunteers, once again, who always rise to the occasion and were available to give outside tours on that particular ArtsWave event, as well as other volunteers who are developing new material and programs for schools. The Friends of Music Hall in the last year now has attractive offices of our own in the south wing of the building. It's a place for our volunteers and board committees to meet once that's permitted, and workspace for our executive director to keep up with everything that she has to do. The office is decorated with several of the gorgeous art-carved wood panels from Music Hall's original Hook and Hastings organ, as well as one of the framed Music Hall blueprints that I mentioned earlier. And you can see some of the other Hook and Hastings organ panels behind me today. Next, our nominating committee had a very busy year. It's led by Mark Wadick, and I will now turn it over to Mark Wadick, who will introduce the new board members for the 2021 season. Mark?
Good evening. Thank you, Peter. I'm Mark Wadick, co-chair of the nominating committee. On behalf of the nominating committee and the board, tonight I have the fun task of introducing to you 5 awesome new board members. Yemi Oyediran is a man who uses his right and left brains. He is an adjunct professor at Xavier University, where he teaches software engineering. And he is co-owner of Afrasheen, a small production company that makes documentary films, including one about King Records. Yemi has been awarded grants from the Ohio Humanities and People's Liberty. We got to know Nicole Roberts last year when she led our rebranding effort. She organized focus groups of community and civic leaders to learn and understand what matters to people who love Music Hall. With this knowledge, Nicole and her team at Kohler Design guided us on our transition from the Society for the Preservation of Music Hall to becoming the Friends of Music Hall. Nicole is also an adjunct professor of graphic design at UC's College of DAP. By day, Carol Sampson gives her heart and soul to an agency that runs youth drug prevention programs. That has got to be rewarding and tough work. As if that's not enough, she writes an influential blog called Black Cincinnati Travels. She is a tour guide at Findlay Market and a volunteer at the Visitor Center on Fountain Square. Diana Taishu is a boomerang professional. After growing up in Cincinnati and going to school at UC, she left to work for the National Trust for Historic Preservation in Washington, D.C., where one of her many projects was to raise funds to restore Nina Simone's childhood home in North Carolina. She returned to Cincinnati, hence the boomerang tag, to work at the Cincinnati Preservation Association as their outreach manager. You might see Matt Zori with a camera on one hand and a bass in the other. He is the assistant principal bassist for the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra and the rhythm section bassist for the Cincinnati Pops. He published a fabulous book of his photographs called Through the Lens, The Remaking of Cincinnati Music Hall. I imagine many of you have seen and enjoyed that book. We welcome and look forward to our new board members helping us become better advocates for the preservation of Music Hall, and more community-minded and experiential in our efforts to reach all who love and cherish this building. I personally want to thank the nominating committee for allowing me to work with them on this exciting group of new board members.
Hey, Nicole, how have you been?
I'm great. What have you been up to?
Just hanging out here thinking about how much I love this place.
I know. I've been thinking about all the amazing performances that have happened here.
I know. Do you play any instruments or sing at all?
No, but I could sing you a quick tune.
I'm sure that you could. I actually love learning about all the musicians that have performed here in Music Hall.
I know. Did you know that Count Basie, Nat King Cole, and Peter, Paul, and Mary all performed here?
That's phenomenal. I also heard that Nina Simone and the Glenn Miller Orchestra performed at Music Hall at one point.
That's incredible. I can't wait until the day when we can all come back and enjoy the performances here. But until then, I guess it's just me and you.
Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum.
Thank you very much, and back to Peter.
Thank you, Mark. I cannot wait to begin working with Yemi, Nicole, Carol, Diana, and Matt. Thanks to all of you for accepting the invitation to join the Friends of Music Hall board. Next, I would like to introduce Rosemary Schlachter. She's chair and oversees our fundraising and membership programs. Rosemary?
Thank you, Peter. Our heartfelt thanks to you, our member. Because of your support, we all together are able to preserve, engage, and celebrate our beloved Music Hall. We deeply appreciate your gift and also the major support of the Carolyn R. Shine Trust and the Charles N. Ellman Fund. Please renew your membership either online or by mail, and we will celebrate you on the Corbett Circle level at 10,000 and above, the Rose Window level at 5,000 and above, the Springer Circle level at 1,000 and above, the Hannaford Circle level at $500 and above, the Mighty Wurlitzer level at $250 and above, the Black Brick Circle level at $100 and above, and the 1878 Circle level at $50. You are wonderful. Thank you.
Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, our very own board member, Taya Chekama. Taya serves as a preservationist, a historian, and an archivist on our Friends of Music Hall board. She helps identify restoration projects, she manages archives, and develops new talks and tours about Cincinnati Music Hall. Recently, she's been blogging about Music Hall history for the Friends of Music Hall website. Take a look. I hope you've had a chance to read about Fountain Lewis, the venerable barber who helped build Music Hall, and Mamie Smith, the queen of the blues in Music Hall. Both are fascinating blogs on our website. Taya has a Bachelor's of Fine Art in Historic Preservation from the Savannah College of Art and Design and a master's degree from the University of Akron in Arts Administration. Her presentation today is a medley of topics, including our latest restoration project that we're very excited about, and also several new additions to our speaker series. Taya?
Hello, thank you, Peter, for those kind remarks. I am Taya Chekama. I'm on the board of the Friends of Music Hall, and I am a historic preservationist and a researcher. I do research for the archives and the Tours and Education Committee. The Friends of Music Hall are continuing to meet their mission to preserve Music Hall and restore vital historic features lost over time. We are moving forward with restoring and preserving the 10 sandstone finials on Music Hall's gables and 3 missing spikes on an existing lyre, both on the front and the back of Music Hall. Since Music Hall is a National Historic Landmark that receives state and federal historic tax credits for the 2016-17 revitalization, we are awaiting final approval from the National Park Service to restore the sandstone ornamentation. The good news is it has passed the first step of the approval process, the State Historic Preservation Office. So we may begin work very soon. There are 10 finials that need restoration and preservation that are either broken or completely missing. 8 sandstone finials are on the front of the east facade of the hall. 3 sandstone spikes are missing on the sandstone lyre above the date stone. 2 finials are on the back or the west facade that are broken off and are jagged fragments. The finials are an important element of high Victorian Gothic architecture. Just like on Gothic cathedrals, they top 11 of Music Hall's gables. These are the 3 gables near the rose window. you can see the metal finial in the middle of the rose window. The only complete sandstone finial remaining is to the right of the rose window, and a broken sandstone finial is to the left of the rose window. The metal finial was recently painted a sandstone color and does not need to be restored. This is a close-up of the only complete sandstone finial remaining on the entire building to the right of the rose window. The other 9 finials are in different states of deterioration. Some have their bases with 4 arms, and others are jagged fragments, and others only have their iron anchor pins sticking up. To figure out the original designs of the sandstone finials, historic photographs were studied from several sources. This is a photo at the Library of Congress and taken from 1902 to 1909, and all of the original sandstone finials are on the east facade in this photo. Early photos of the west facade are very rare, and many photos of the back on today's Central Parkway were taken during the subway construction and located at the University of Cincinnati Digital Collection. But unfortunately, these were taken in 1921, and the 2 west facade finials were broken and gone by that time. This photo by Frank Wilms is the earliest photo we have found. It is showing one of the west facade finials on the south corridor. You can see the Miami and Erie Canal that reached Cincinnati in 1827. You can see City Hall in the background that was completed in 1893. You can see Cincinnati Hospital's towers on the right side of the canal, which was torn down in 1915. So we can date this photo. And I adore, in the lower left corner, you can see a group of boys wearing newsboy hats from the early teens and 20s. This photo is in a private collection, so if anyone out there has photos of Music Hall, please donate them to the Friends of Music Hall. We will scan them and return them to you. They are very helpful for research. Evergreen Architectural Arts of New York City was hired to create drawings of the sandstone ornamentation by zooming in on the details of these collected historic photos. Faro Technologies, a 3D imaging and measurement company, used their laser cameras to help us measure the scale of the existing ornamentation. The Faro camera records 900,000 points per second, so their measurements are within 1/8 of an inch correct. SSRG, Structural Systems Repair Group of Cincinnati, was hired to take drone photos of the initial assessment of the sandstone pieces and surrounding sandstone. Phase 1 will be to clean the sandstone, and phase 2 will be to restore the pieces using GFRC, glass fiber reinforced concrete, that will be poured into molds created from 3D technology. This is the evergreen drawings of the finials, which we discovered are 4 different designs, and the lyre spikes. Notice the scale of the finials. They are from 4 feet to 2 feet tall and around 2 feet wide. This is my favorite photo from 1950, and it shows the north gable of the South Hall that it still has a complete finial. To show you the scale of the finials, look closely at the gutter and you will see a man standing there who is somewhere between 5 and 6 feet tall, and he appears very dwarfed on that roof. We are excited to see Music Hall with her completed sandstone finials again. This photo was taken between 1883 and 1888 and is one of the earliest photos of the east facade, donated by Philip Spiess to our archives this year. Plans for future restoration of the metal roof ornamentation on all of the peaks and all of the ridges are still in the works. The Friends of Music Hall continues to meet its mission to educate and engage with the community. 2 new talks have been created. Under One Roof, the African American Experience in Music Hall. It highlights just a few outstanding African Americans, from builders, barbers, politicians, performing artists, to athletes who have helped forge the ethos of our city and break down the color barrier under one roof of the 3 buildings of Music Hall. I hope everyone has been following us at the Friends of Music Hall on our website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and have read our recent blogs on exciting research discoveries, which are included in these 2 talks. If not, go there and read the full story of Fountain Lewis, a venerable African American barber in Cincinnati for over 50 years, who cut the hair of Reuben Springer, the founding patron of Music Hall. Fountain Lewis, in 1876, donated $20 toward the construction of Music Hall. That is almost $500 donation today. Read more about his life and how he lived right behind Music Hall for 18 years, and most likely just walked those few blocks to attend several events in this building. Our second new talk is titled Muses, the Women of Music Hall. 3 women that helped carve these 1878 organ panels are highlighted in that talk. This talk will highlight several famous and significant women to appear in Music Hall since its completion in 1879 to the present day, including artists, suffragists, musicians, philanthropists, patrons of the restoration of the building, and patrons of the arts presented inside. Music Hall herself is often referred to as the Queen of Cincinnati in the feminine form. This is a detail of the 1915 mural inside Springer Auditorium, showing some of the muses who looked down at the audience members at every event. The muses represent music, chorus, dance, comedy and tragedy, poetry, and history. I believe this is Calliope, the leader of the muses, holding a piece of paper. She is either reading or more likely singing with her beautiful voice. And Cleo, with the book behind her, is documenting and celebrating the history of Music Hall. Women have always played an important part in all of the categories of the muses in Music Hall's history. Another woman highlighted in the Muses talk is Mamie Smith. We recently discovered that Cincinnati-born Mamie Smith and her Jazz Hounds and her jazz review show appeared in Music Hall in April of 1921. Thanks to a new member of the Friends of Music Hall, Chris Hanlon, for sending the advertisement in Cincinnati's historic Black newspaper, The Union. Helpful tips always appreciated. Please search your attics and volunteer to be a researcher with our group. Mamie Smith was the queen of the blues, the first Black female to record the classic blues. And on August 10, 1920, 100 years ago, she recorded Crazy Blues, with her all-choice musicians from New York City, the Jazz Hounds. The record was released and marketed for the first time to Black audiences. It sold 75,000 copies in the first month and more than 1 million that year. She immediately took off on tours across the US and with her Jazz Hounds came to Music Hall. Her concerts typically sold out all over the country to Black and white fans. And ads after her Music Hall appearance stated people were turned away from Music Hall. So that would mean almost 8,000 people heard her perform on Music Hall's stage. Check out the blog about Mamie Smith to learn more about her. Lastly, an incredibly detailed photograph was added to our archives, also donated from Philip Spies. This is a modello for a statue which may have been on top of Music Hall's 12th gable, the main apex of Music Hall, our own muse of music. The winged angel in classical robe is bestowing her gifts of music with 2 putti at her feet, one with a lyre and one with a horn. This statue matches several lithograph drawings of an angel statue on the apex of Music Hall, but it was never completed nor placed on the building. But if anyone has a photo or documents proving otherwise, we would be grateful. In the meantime, with your support, the Friends of Music Hall will continue to be the angels watching over this National Historic Landmark.
Thank you, Taya. We are so fortunate to benefit from the amazing and fascinating research that you've unearthed about Music Hall and the people who make Music Hall come to life.
Hey, Alec, did you know that our board member and preservationist, Taya Chepkema, did the research about these black-stained bricks for the renovation of the building recently?
That's right, and these black bricks were actually part of Hannaford's original design, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
It's incredible the amount of information that we know, but still have to learn about this national landmark.
We have 142 years of history and lots of stories to be told.
Well, Rick, you're a writer, so I think you might be in the right place.
I guess you're right.
You should go get to work.
Thank you for joining us this evening, albeit virtually, and for your continued support of our organization. We are fortunate to have so many partners in the community like you, and we share a unique bond with each of Music Hall's resident companies. We share your love for all that they and the Cincinnati Arts Association does for our community. As soon as we know that it's safe to give indoor tours and host concerts, we will be in touch with you. We're eager to welcome you again to our magnificent Cincinnati Music Hall. We hope to see you in 2021. And as I like to say over these past several months, stay positive and test negative. I'm going to turn it back over to Trent Sims. He's going to perform one from a chorus line on our mighty Wurlitzer organ as we leave you tonight. Thank you for joining us.